And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Songs of Six. As far as I can tell on YouTube, before the video's only been up for like five or so hours, we haven't really got any feedback on what we should focus on as far as city goes. So I'm going to have to sort of wing it a little bit. So right now we are down here. We have 10 undertrained soldiers. We do have a army right outside our own door that is neutral and is fortified. We have a couple other nations around us that we may want to interact with as soon as we can. There's a haven there. Cannot service. Okay. Investor. I think this is just minor nation. I think I'll be a major, or either that or I'm not able to reach out and do diplomacy with them yet. No, we can go out and do diplomacy with them. So one thing we were going to want to do at some point is we're going to want to be able to try to establish a trade relation with the neighbors. So the question is, what do I have of value that they will take in trade that isn't too prohibitive for us to pay? So if we give them all the industrial goods, we're still short some. The wood isn't going to be worth very much. We could technically give them all the wood as well. Okay, so if we were willing to sort of go more than I'd like and start throwing food at them, we could get positive that way. I think we'll hold off for the moment. We'll try to build up a little bit more value to negotiate this trade alliance. Oh, apparently we have exactly one neighbor, from what I can tell. Okay, so if we're negotiating with a neighbor, we're negotiating with them. They're the only neighbor we have. Okay. Well, let's pop back into our town. So, if we want to open up trade, we're opening up trade to them, which means we need to generate enough revenue to pay for the trade agreement to improve trade. We can do some stuff with science. We've got 53 innovations sitting around. There is an argument to pick up more services, or at least the missing services. We don't currently have the population to pick up the fighting pits or healthcare, or the inn, or the drinking place. Don't need the Empire stuff. I don't think we really got the stone to run statues and or pillars right now. Could pick up the library, and we'll probably want to pick up the library at some point. Could pick up guard post. Once we expand the population again, we'll probably want to do guard post into some sort of law. That's probably what we want to do with the knowledge. So there's maybe an argument, pick up, using the innovation, pick up the library, use the library to get more knowledge so we can do more law and order. Probably too early for fortifications. I'm not sure we necessarily need to fortify the map. And then we could go Globadin. I think we're better off sticking heavily to fishing for the moment for food expansion. And then at some point we'll feed in with Globadin for eggs and vegetables. Vegetable farms for vegetables. I think weapons, I think we're going to do a makeshift weapons just because no one has put forth a suggestion. I think crude crafting tools. I think this just allows us to use crafting tools, not necessarily Although it is implying we're getting like 1.6 workers, so maybe it does apply even if we don't have crafting tools applied to a thing. But yeah, I think we'll do makeshift weaponry when we do military properly. In the meantime, we're probably on the verge of wanting to build another housing district. How many services does our food stall here? Because we've got a couple, I want to know roughly how many they support. So I can determine how I want to go about expanding. Copying this food stall, does it tell us how many they support? No. I know this was showing how many it could support. 133. Oh, that's how much food's there, not necessarily how many people it supports. Okay, let's quickly just do... Is it control to start spawning one? Yes. So it looks like they provide... Yeah, so it provide about enough for about 64. Let's say 60. So I can duplicate sort of that style food stall. Actually, technically next to 6 houses, so we've got a little bit surplus here. Each one of these is oversupplying. Over here we have 10 hunters working and some fishermen. I might build a small housing district over here, just in case we want to expand hunting. Let's go ahead and actually do that. Get this queued up. Home. House. We've been doing longhouse, because right now there's nothing preventing or benefiting you for building smaller houses, per se. So that'll allow 60, and then we can basically go ahead and do a copy of one of these. So we got some food stalls next to it. This is an area where we have a janitor, so I might as well put up some of the quality of life buildings that don't require anyone to work them. So the good old-fashioned, we do a well, we might as well do a full-sized well. And a... And, do a way to estimate how many the latrine is currently doing. What's the... Well, the current one is underworked. So the biggest complaint I'd probably see with the current one is it does not have enough coverage. Right, so basically doing it for coverage. We'll hold off on that because that probably requires furniture to build. So let's get some time passing, get that building. And then we'll probably invite in another 60 people or so. Twitch chat saying Team RB, hey Will, thanks for Humankind stream yesterday. I had to leave early so I could not catch the end. Hope you had a fun stream. Yeah, I had a fun stream. And we did end up finishing the stream. So if you want to catch it later, you can either watch the Twitch VOD or up over to YouTube when it gets uploaded to YouTube. Complaining about what? Not enough stone. Okay. Let's see if I can find some stone to harvest nearby. Clear rock. Some rock. Smattering of rock everywhere, so I'm not too worried about running out. Although maybe at some point I should look into sending for quarry. There's a small one down there. Small one across the way. Looks like that's our 2 stone mines. It's a deposit of something up there. Can't tell. Probably clay, but it looks of it. So yeah, I might move on to doing stone mining at that location. just so we have a reliable supply for maintenance purposes. The houses are done here. And it's not surprising that there's people already living in here, because it's just the hunters probably decided they'd like to live near their work. Vacant, but okay. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to invite a full 16. We're going to invite 40 in to start here. So we're going to raise the camp on these guys to 240. And we'll immediately accept 40 aspiring immigrants in. I'm guessing I built, I built another set of 4 down here, did I? Or, no, that's... I only have more housing than I expected. Yeah, that's 200. Built 60, so 216. We got 240 in. Oh, not everyone's grabbed a house yet, that's what's going on. Still claiming houses. Fair enough. From a stone harvesting standpoint, that's our stone mine. That's our one. Well, it's the probably easiest stone mine to use. So let's actually go ahead and contemplate using that one. Got a rough ridge going over here, and we'll probably have bridges out to these islands quickly. In fact, let's designate some roads before, whoops, before we get too carried away. We're gonna want a road sort of connecting A and B. So, something like that from the road over here. And then we're going to want to do a quick road out to these little islands. Only needs to be enough to get across the shallow. Try to min-max the bridging effect. Let those bridges build and the roads be carved. And I think we'll get a stone mining going. And we've got a reliable source of stone to offset maintenance of things that cost stone. Because that also lets me have to worry a little bit less. As you can see, we're consuming 5.5 stone in maintenance that we currently don't have because we're out of stone. Completely out of stone. There's quite a bit of native stone, but I'd like to offset the maintenance, at least with designated, or let's say renewable mining. That's maybe a good way to describe it. Okay, that road's cleaned up. People are being assigned over there. Meantime, let's turn the speed down and we will start to designate this iron mine. So, or stone mine. So we got stone, so obviously we want to designate it such that it covers all of the stone. We're not going to assign everyone to this mine. We'll start off pretty small. Again, I think we're mostly going to be using this to offset the upkeep. Not necessarily try to positive mine stone here. So it's 50% efficient how it is. In theory, the stone mine, if it was operating at full speed, would produce 94. We're going to give it a little bit of a non-mine space so we can put down some storage and auxiliaries. storage like so, and then we may need quite a bit of auxiliary here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a little bit more space. The auxiliaries fit in the way I want. Appreciate being quite so close. Okay, let's go with that for the storage, and then auxiliaries. And it will stretch to the west. Not by much, but by a little. That's how big we want this. Like so. And I can trim it up a little bit. Minimize unneeded space. So this is the stone mine. It'll have up to 42 workers and produce quite a bit of stone. It is going to require quite a bit of furniture to build, but I think we will be fine. We have a pretty decent furniture income right now. Let that get up to speed. And again, this is probably going to be warranting much like the Hunters, where we put a little housing district next to it. We'll probably put a little housing district over next to it as well, so that the stone miners can have places to live nearby. We do still have net food production, so food stockpile should be growing. I think we're going to want sort of like that housing over there. I do like a copy move. Yeah, we can do a copy area. Okay. There we go. So we'll get that housing district over there. We'll work on probably copying the well and the hearth as well, because then we'll be wanting that over there as well. Oops. Yeah, I only went to the well after we got the area copied, so I need to do another area copy. Like so. And this, I suppose, just go across the street, proverbial street. Sorry about that. I had a sneeze and decided you do not want to hear that. Yeah, they will need a little bit of a warehouse here as well. Put in that corner, I think. Logistics for storage, yeah, warehouse. Okay. Can I get 4? No, we'll do just 3 doors there. Okay. Yeah, now we just need to give them time to actually build what I've queued up, which is quite a bit. Even we got some houses over here. Nice. Already set up. So we've got housing for another 80 lizardmen. We may have them come in soon. Okay, they're well. And again, the stone mine construction here is waiting on furniture, so not surprising it's not quite done, because while we do produce more furniture than we consume, like 2 a day, so this will be done in a couple days. Okay, the storehouse isn't quite done, but let's double check the janitor coverage. Does janitors reach out there? No, so we're gonna need a janitor as well. You know, I'm actually going to go do another area copy here. Because I'm going to go ahead and just basically copy the janitor and its storage. Like so. Okay, so this warehouse right now is mostly going to be assigned to stone, because it's basically going to be the main stone stockpile. I might leave some space for cut stone, so make it like 7. And then obviously we will assign a delivery man, pickup man there. Haul the stone across the road. I'm a little low on wood. Let's do some clear cutting so I can get some wood coming in. This stuff over here should grow back if I chop it down. If it doesn't, that's fine. And at some point we'll continue expanding the fisheries along the coastline here. This area is not being excluded from fisheries, just we've got 3 days of surplus food. And okay, the net is beginning to go down, so we'll probably take the next 40 people or so in after we get the stone mine running. And again, I'm probably not going to run the stone mine at full speed to start with. And we'll set it to... making sure... Yeah, you got furniture, that'll be fine. You got 2 open crates if I need something else. And I probably will need something else in the janitorial storage. What was I thinking? We'll probably expand fishing. Okay, we'll put enough stone cutters in there, or stone miners in there to get us lots of stone. Not necessarily with the intent for having that be the only source of stone, but so that I don't have to be worrying about if I look away and don't mine any stone, or don't manually mine any stone, where's all the stone coming from, sort of thing. Waiting on the last 6 pieces of furniture. Which may be out for delivery, or we may only have 2 ready to go for delivery. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell if people have picked stuff up or not when you're hauling them that far. I suppose the natural result of this is implying that we should probably have a road there. Let's quickly actually road that pit. That's obviously a road, based on how much people have worked the path there. Should probably do an expansion of the fishery. From the fact that well, we wanted to stay a little over 20, so 22 is declining right now is fine. So I'm probably getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I'm making like 22, 23 all in a day. And it's the other food stuff that's going right. So it's the every once in a while we get a wave of veg that comes in from the veg field. And another one thing you could do with the warehouses, you could set them to automatically adjust their hiring and firing. The drawback to that is if you're not paying attention, they can eat up all your workforce if you've got a lot of stuff that needs to be moved around. I think we need thinking about our troops. Right now, our troops are training, but they're not. We haven't ordered them to pick up any equipment, right? So they've got no armor and they got no weapons. At some point, we'll want to arm them with weapons and armor. I suppose that's one reason to be making stone as well, because I think the makeshift weapons cost stone to build. Our clothing has been reasonably high, so we've been making leather armor instead. It may transition back shortly. The clothing is getting a little low. Population, climate, wells, and laboratories are helping. Of course, as a population is positive right now because it's really low. So as people go up, it lets them go down. We currently have 2 people infected with something. Okay, we need... Actually, we have enough furniture. It just needs to be delivered at this point to finish the stone mine. And our lumber has all been harvested. So yeah, probably in a good steading to start designating the next fishery. Aquaculture, fishery. Okay, so that's going to be the length of the fishery. It's going to employ 10 fishermen. At storage, and then we need enough auxiliaries to keep everyone get everyone to work at reasonably high efficiency. There we go. That'll work. And we got plenty of wood to build that, so it shouldn't be a problem. Thanks to chat for saying thanks for explaining all the stuff I'm doing. I tried to explain the stuff. That also helps if other people know the game better than I do and think that that's wrong. They can chime in and say, no, you should do it this way for this reason. There we go. Okay, so we've got our stone miner here. Each miner is mining, in theory, 4.5 stone a day. We actually only consume like 4.8, so we only really need like 2 stone miners. I'll overbias it a little bit, we'll go like 4. This means we're going to fire some of the stone miners that just got themselves a job. Sorry guys, we don't need quite that many yet, we've overbuilt it. I'm in Twitch chat saying, I've never played this game before and I haven't bought it yet because it looks kind of intimidating and complicated. It is a little potentially complicated, but it's also complicated to a certain degree based on how complicated you want to make it, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be very complicated. For example, we're playing the Lizardmen, Amevians here, and one of the ways we're keeping it simplified is they like fish, eggs, and vegetables. And if you know what they like, and you're only working with one culture, it's really easy to say, hey, as long as I make the thing they want, they're not going to eat the other stuff, so I can focus on just making the things they want. So we're just making fish mostly here, which is one reason we've got fish going out and around the entire bay here, because we can get away with doing that. Yeah, it hasn't been built yet, although workers are descending upon that construction site to get it built. Okay. So with that, I think we're going to double up on some of our industries. We're going to double up on tailoring so that we can get more leather goods coming in. Also, so I can do both clothing and leather armor at the same time. So we're going to do... I'm not even going to make a different size one. I'm just going to say... In fact, this one could hire a bunch more people, but we want 2 different buildings. We're going to do shift, select, build another one of these. There. If I'm doubling that up, I probably want to double the leather production, so I'll come over to the hunter. Do shift copy to build one of those. And then we'll do basically the same once that's built up with the carpentry. So we can do makeshift weapons, the carpentry. Reminds me, let's quickly grab the makeshift weapons tech. So this is going to allow us to make spears or warhammers. I think we're going to go spears. Let's go with the good old pointy sticks. To start off here. And then by then we'll probably be thinking the next thing to be doing is probably library into law. And that's going to need furniture, so we're going to be waiting for furniture there. Probably over here as well. Did you take furniture? I think you took furniture. Yeah. So the big holdup on that is actually going to be the furniture. Suppose I may need to build up... Alright, more furniture makers. Right, so we've got 10 going there. They turn 20 wood into about 5 furniture. Okay, I'm gonna accept that we're gonna be letting some more people in. Let's grab 10 more woodcutters and 10 more carpenters. So we get furniture moved a bit faster because my newest construction all requires furniture. Now, this was a copy of this one, so it's probably going to auto-default to leather production, but I should check on it as soon as it's done to make sure it has done that. Putting more hunters is going to lower the efficacy of each hunter, but we were actually oversupplying the leather when we were working on just the leather armor, because the leather armor doesn't take as much work as the coats do. So it's 4 to 3, or 2 to a quarter. We originally sized the number of workers based on it being coats, not armor. So we were actually using less leather than we needed. We're probably still over-providing leather once this gets working, but... And if we're not, I might upsize the clothing storage. And run a little bit more clothing. And yeah, that new fishery is probably a little overkill. We're up to 26 food, which is more than we need. 26 days of food. The days of food bonus to population happiness caps out at 20. So we would like to keep it above 20, but honestly, when it comes to storing fish, fish doesn't keep very well, so we don't want to over-store fish. Okay, all the furniture has arrived, so the hunter is getting set up. And with that, we got another place that it has been assigned to work on leather, how I liked it. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is, I think I actually do need to take more people in, which is going to put us over the point, I believe... Oh no, we're already at the point. So we can go ahead and grab our, using knowledge, grab some of our law techs and get law, sort of preliminary law set up. We're going to need guard post to do sort of law enforcement. The guards are basically the police. And then we want to pick one sort of punishment for the moment. I think we'll go stocks early on here. But we'll double check before we commit to that. What sort of law does our people like? They like imprisonment, they like stocking, and they like judgment. That doesn't mean that's the only thing we want to give to them. There is a max fulfillment. I think the max fulfillment on these is also less than 100% being assigned to stocking, judgment, and imprisonment. Some of these have greater deterrence value, like so executing people is a greater deterrence to crime than just throwing them in the stocks, for example. But yeah, we're going to throw them in the stocks because we don't have enough knowledge to run every sort of law at the same time. So we're going to manage the law in here. We're going to turn off what we don't have for our people. So we're not going to have the judge. We are going to arrest them. We are going to throw them in the stocks. Effectively. Stocks the prison. Might be that. Yeah, might be that we have to put in prison. Okay. Let's do one quick check to make sure there isn't a separate prison in here. Yeah, it's just the stocks and let's unlock stocks. There we go. So we got stocks and we got the guardhouse. So basically, anyone who gets accused of a crime is going to get thrown in the stocks until the guards get bored. Is it law enforcement? Yes. Is it good law enforcement? Probably not. We need to build... make this really effective. We need a stockade, which is sort of... I always forget which one's jail or prison. One is pre-trial, one's post-trial. So this is basically going to be our pre-trial law enforcement. We'll make it big enough that it needs an even number of guards, ideally. There we go, 4, that's probably about right. And then we are going to want guard posts everywhere, and these are sizable. One thing I think is useful to remember when it comes to sizing these is you can always oversize them and then just have fewer guards work at a given guard post. So we're going to overbuild them, and then we're going to basically underemploy them initially here. So we want one there. Basically every one of our major population centers at least wants some guards. They're going to take them all to the central stockade, but want a guard post everywhere to keep the place safe. And then across from our detention center, we're going to have the stocks. Looks like the stocks. I wonder, can I put you in the jail? Or was I misreading that? Looks like I need to put them. So yeah, we'll put the stocks across the road. We're going to need a little bit of iron to do the stocks. So we're actually going to go out to the world map. Can I convince these guys to do a manual trade? I want them... That's what I can offer. I would like, let's say... we need a little bit of iron for this. And you give me 5 iron. That's quite expensive, but I think we can pay that. We're going to pay, say, 20... No, they want more than that. 50? No, they do still want more than that, okay. Oh, our armor's pretty valuable. We can splurge and pay them in some armor, I suppose. 5 armor. That'd be like 40... 30 lever? I either want to be making... Oh, I could just pay them 5 armor. So, 5 metal for 5 leather armor. Accept. So that should give us enough leather... or enough metal that we can build our stocks here. So we can basically punish them, take them in the stockade, and throw the wrongdoers in the stocks. And with that, don't think we need that many. Well, that's the stage. The guard post is not doing it. Whoops. Probably don't need that many people working the stage either. But okay, let's take another 40 people in. So you were at 240. I'd like to go to 280. And then we will authorize that 40 of them move in. So the 40 people move in. And we have housing for another 40, so that's not a problem. And again, I don't want eight people who work at these guard posts. We want like 2, let's say. So as soon as they're done, we're going to take them down to 2. That one's not done. That one's not done. Okay. Anyway, we did have the medal, so we've got we'll have effectively three possible punishments at any given time for captured prisoners. You're done. You've signed too many guards. We want 2. You're done. Again, we're going to sign like 2 there. Okay, the next thing I want is I do want another carpenter. Although this carpenter will be... Let's look at the recipes. In fact, actually, I want 2 more carpenters, because we're going to be making some weapons. We want to make improvised spears, which is wood plus stone equals spear. And we want to do some wood and leather shields. So we'll go ahead and make 2 more carpenters. Although I'll put the new carpenters, in our outer areas. We're going to put one over here, and we're going to put a lumber camp over here to provide that. And then we're going to put one over here and put one over here to do that. So we're going to use the one that uses stone over by the stone mine, and the one that uses leather over by the hunters, because the hunters provide the leather. Sounds like a plan. Do I have any open space in my storage here? I do if I reduce some of the space for fish. Which I will do. We'll kick it down 1 step and add improvised weapons here. Add our spears, which are there. 1 crate of spear. Crafting. This is going to be a pretty small one. Again, this is just to make shields, so it doesn't need to be super large. I guess we'll support 7 employees. Probably only put like 5 in it. And then we'll need a lumber camp over here. Although I'll come back to the lumber camp once we're done that build, so we can size it better. And then we'll do one over here for the spears. Someone was trying to build. Okay. Speed time up, let those get built. One will be making spears, one will be making shields. and then that allows us to equip our army with swords. Well, with, not with swords. With spears, leather armor, and shields, so they're not unequipped. Looks like we got some indication the food stockpile is going down. I might need to both set up some more fishermen and or at least set up some more people on hauling it to the main warehouse. Let's double warehouse delivery men in case it's actually being produced and not being delivered. Because in theory, this fish stockpile is still positive. Okay, both of them have had their items delivered, we're just waiting for them to be built. First crime has committed. For small cities, it's not a big issue, but you might want to look into setting up a few guards and prisoners. The game is reminding me to set up the law enforcement. Yeah, thanks. We just did that. The question here is: was the said prisoner or was said criminal caught? We had a theft. Those are our jailers, not our criminals. So I'm suspecting that the criminal was not caught. Was he caught? Oh, he was actually caught. Capacity 1 of 40. I've taken the prisoner there. Caught for theft. Right now, the punishment is... Oh, actually, I should probably do a balance between... Oh, no, there we go. He's been put in the stocks. Arisen 32 days. Pleads evidence, wants to try case in court. Only one problem, no court. Okay, so this one is going to be our improvised spear. Swap you over to spear. You're going to be improvised, or not? I suppose it's not improvised. It's just the shield recipe. Over to shields. So now we should be consuming more wood than we produce. So I need to get some more woodcutters going for that. And we may be consuming more leather than we produce. Oh, no, that's about right. We make... Yeah, okay. So the net's a bit negative, but then we've got storage. That's what's going on there. Okay, so it's about right on the leather, which is what we need for the shields. So other than getting some lumber going for backstopping the lumber consumption, I think we're good. Gonna do build another. Actually, I've got enough housing for another 40. Okay, so let's get some lumber cutting going. So, woodcutter. So you can put woodcutters anywhere. There's specific places they like to be from a soil standpoint. So the bluer it is, the better the lumber cutter here would be. Same over here. I think we're gonna obviously just designate it on the existing forest. I think that'll work well for us. Here we go. So that would be a perfect efficiency, 7 workers. We can come back and expand these. None of this is sort of necessarily permanent. Okay, be another 7 workers, and that should probably be enough to get us wood positive. At least from a consumption standpoint. We might technically need a little bit more to upkeep with the maintenance, but usually I'm pretty on top of wood maintenance. So wood and stone are one of the 2 resources you can sort of gather from the environment by having the odd jobbers go out and chop trees in the case of wood, or harvest stone from random stones. At least in the case of trees, trees grow back as well. So we're waiting on... They're actually waiting on stone, so I need to go harvest some more stone from the environment, because again, we're only making enough to maintain upkeep, right? I think I have enough housing for 320, so let's actually go up to 320. The audio up to 320. There isn't actually that many here expiring, so we'll let 30 in. We've got it set up so they can let the next 20 in. Okay, and our food stockpile in number of days has declined, so it's probably time to expand food production as well. We'll let the existing jobs here complete. And did I already cap out the existing wood cutting? Yeah, one's at full. And there are upgrades to these, so the thing to know with upgrades is if you do an upgrade, that then adds that to the maintenance. So we're already in a weird, awkward situation of we've got a metal upkeep and no metal supply. So it's providing 28 wood. Are we wood positive? No, but we're down to at least it being decay and maintenance, which is probably fine. Okay, so let's try to solve the food problem, agriculture problem, first before we bring this part of the stream, or this part of the run to a close. Zones do need to be contiguous. They don't necessarily need to be compact. So we're going to leave basically the empty middle of this island here, but we're going to make the fishery otherwise kind of the rest of coastline here, if we can. Debating, do I want to? Probably just make it as big as we can. Okay, not much. Actually, we'll accept that it's only that big, that'll be fine. Then we'll do the left side of the island as a different fishery. So we'll put some storage here. This doesn't need to be the biggest of storage. Okay. And then I can undesignate the space we don't need on the dry land. Guess we want to fill that in with something else later. Like so. That'll employ another 14 fishermen. That'll make us fish. 3. Be praised, my brother. So, my brothers have come from a faraway land. Winter is coming, brother, and be thankful to have brothers like me. Please share the following. So they've got about 6 soldiers. They are potentially going to cause problems if we don't pay up. Apparently I have some money. Where do I see my money in this list? Yes, I've got 9 money. So I'm basically 1/3 of my money and about 1,000 fish. We'll pay up, otherwise they may attack us in a moment. But we'll just pay up because it's easy enough to make them go away right now. We haven't actually equipped our troops yet with any weapons. I think that would be a good thing to do before, you know, we accept a fight. We could otherwise avoid. Here we're making spears and shields. Oh, I don't need the spears here. We'll put the shield and the spear away and put that back to fish. Because we're putting the spears over here because they use stone. And we have an empty crate here, which makes that perfect. Okay. Now, we should have a lot less fish decaying, so food stockpile should be going up, although we did deplete a bunch of our food days stored, so our people are a little bit less happy from food storage. So we are going to want to up the food storage here. Okay, that fishery is going. And yeah, I think we'll do the other half the island up here. Aquaculture terms as well. I could just do is just do that, and then we can de-designate the interior. Leave the road undesignated. And we can then use the interior of this island for some amenities or something. You know, the fishermen may like their own personal bathroom or something, for example. Not too many coats. You have space in the warehouse. Don't have space in the warehouse. It's probably time to build a second warehouse for storage of things like coats. Sort of our industrial district down here, right? We've got the coat maker and the leather armor maker. And we'll probably have some other stuff in the future. So let's get another warehouse down here. Up our pillars for support in the middle of the building. say that's going to be what the shape is like. And we'll give it 2 doors. Oops. Alright, button for the door. There we go. Give it 2 doors, call that good. That provides almost like 4K storage, so that's probably plenty of storage. Sir, janitor cover that? Yeah, it does cover that. We have multiple janitors, so everything is into the coverage of the janitor, so things should be maintained properly. Now, so another warehouse we could do is out on the island here. We could set up like a food warehouse just for fish storage. Let's do a large fish storage out here. Logistics warehouse. And then this one will basically be for storing sort of industrial goods, made in the main sort of village area. This one, of course, we just decided is just going to be fish. So, we know we need more coat storage, so let's go ahead and set up like 5 coat storage there. Well, I think that's all we're going to store there. So, going to get lots of available storage that we're not using right now. And here is going to be fish. Stormy fish. Yeah. Assign one person whose job it is to go grab fish from the local fisheries. Okay. With that, I think we're at a good place to put a part break in. The city is growing. We've got basic law and order going on. We've in fact punished some people, which is improving our lawfulness. 2 people are currently imprisoned. For the crimes that they have committed. We've got basic equipment for our troops, which means we should actually probably take the time to tell them to equip up with their equipment in the next part. And then we'll probably go on to expanding either innovation or education. Oh, and what we'll do once we get a bunch of coats and furniture prepared is we'll probably try to get a trade agreement with our neighbors, so we can start trading the excess resources away. So until the next part, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put a part break in here, and the next part will be up tomorrow for YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break to get up, stretch the legs, sip some tea. My mouth is getting a little bit dry after all that talking for the last hour or so. And then we'll be back to continue playing the game. We're going to record another 3 parts tonight. So until the next part, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.